Hi and welcome. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about assistive technology and specifically talking calculators. Before we get into the calculators though, I'd like to quickly go over assistive technology and what that means for students. So assistive technology is any device that can be used to maintain or improve the functional capabilities of a child with a disability. Now these disabilities can range from hearing impairments, vision impairments, physical impairments. They can be things such as ADD or ADHD, dyslexia. So there's a wide range of disabilities that these technologies can be used to help within the classroom. And the good thing about assistive technology is that it can be used exclusively at school. So it can be something that can be kept in the classroom and used just for the classroom. It can be used exclusively at home, or it can be something that's used both in the classroom and in the classroom. So let's talk about specifically today assistive technology in math. Now, one of the primary forms of assistive technology is the calculator. And this calculator has been around for thousands of years, going as far back as 2000 BC, where the first calculators are what we know as abacuses. And these were used to count and add numbers all the way up to the thousands, millions, and it was really the first form of a tool that could add up very large numbers. Currently, though, most of the calculators we use in the classroom are primarily scientific and or graphing calculators. Now, scientific calculators are primarily used for lower level math classes, where you'll see the graphing calculators used in classes like trig, pre-calc, and calculus. So when we want to think about assistive technology, the calculator itself can be considered assistive technology. But most students in math class, they can get by with scientific or graphing calculator. However, one group of students that may struggle with these calculators is students who have vision impairments. And so today I'd like to talk a little bit about talking calculators. And the whole idea behind the talking calculator is that it can speak to you and tell you the calculations that you've put into it, so you, if you can't see, can still participate in the math classroom. So these are considered to be a mid-tech piece of assistive technology because they require batteries to operate. So low-tech would be something that doesn't require any batteries, and high-tech would be something that has to be plugged in or can be considered very expensive. Now, the calculators, they're manufactured and usually consist of a plastic casing with LCD screen displays. Now, the more complicated you get with your calculators, the more the materials are going to be more expensive and fancier in a way. The nice thing about these calculators, though, is that they're readily available and can be found for a range of prices. So if you don't have a lot of money to spare, you can get a pretty cheap calculator that can do basic math for you. So in terms of availability, let's look at some places where talking calculators can be purchased from. And primarily, if we look at these, they can be bought at websites that sell technology for people who are vision impaired. So you'll see here at the American Printing House for the Blind, you can buy Maxi Aids, talking calculators, or independent living aids. And if you go to these websites, you can find different calculators with different prices based on your needs. Cost can be a concern for some people. Now, if you want to go basic, you can go cheap, $21, this would be a basic model, or you can go all the way up to $599, which would be like a graphing calculator. Now, to determine what you want to buy, you really have to consider what classes you're going to be taking and how often you're going to be using this calculator. If you know you're going to be taking classes like trigonometry, pre-calculus, calculus, then investing in a graphing calculator would be very wise, because you're going to be using a lot of complex functions and graphs that a normal calculator wouldn't be able to do. However, if you're just going to be in a basic math class where you have to do basic arithmetic, a $21 talking calculator that can do basic functions would probably be the better choice. So you may be wondering how these calculators work. Now, they work just like any other calculator, the big exception being that they talk to you. And as stated before, they're designed for use among students who are visually impaired. So these could be students who are completely blind, or students who have a very, very hard time seeing. And the great thing about this is that once students learn how to use these calculators, they can be used at home and in school. There are some drawbacks, though, when we consider this calculator. One thing is that the calculator requires practice and training. So you can't just give a student the calculator and expect them to understand how to use it right away. Also with that, they don't have Braille on the keys. So students are really going to have to practice and learn where the keys are on the calculator in order to feel completely comfortable using it on their own. And so, considering that, in the beginning, they'll probably have to work one-on-one with someone to really get comfortable with that calculator and understand where the keys are on that calculator. However, that being said, there are a lot of benefits for these talking calculators. And one of the biggest things is it provides students who are visually impaired with the ability to participate in a math environment. Imagine you're sitting in a math class and you can't do those calculations on a normal calculator. You're going to feel like you don't have the opportunity to participate in the class. With this talking calculator, it can speak to you. You can do all the same calculations that every other student in the classroom is doing, and so you are much more likely to participate and feel involved in the classroom. It also allows students who may otherwise choose not to follow a math career feel more comfortable doing so. They're going to be able to take those more advanced math courses and not feel like they don't belong because they can't use the same technologies that other kids are using. And another thing is that it works just like a regular calculator. So students who are not visually impaired can work with these calculators as well, which is great because in a classroom setting, students who aren't visually impaired can support and work with students who are visually impaired. They can work together using these calculators, and both students can learn from each other. For more references about assistive technology, you can check out this Assistive Technology book. Great resource, has a lot of information about the different types of assistive technology and what types there are in terms of low tech, high tech, mid tech, and what teachers and educators can do for students with disabilities. Hope this was helpful, and if there's any questions or comments, please leave them below.